My name is Martin, I have been studying charisma and social skills for 3 years straight, and in today's video, I'm about to show you how you can become like Hannibal Lecter. I'm gonna expose the most important secrets that Hannibal Lecter is using to get people to like him almost immediately. His insanely great speaking ability, his even greater listening, his awesome body language, his extremely funny personality, and finally, giving value to the people around him. Why don't we start with speaking? Speaking is Hannibal's one of the most important traits when it comes to charisma, because you can immediately sense his very calm demeanor whenever he talks to anyone.
You're one of Jack Crawford's, aren't you? May I see your credentials?
When it comes to social skills, this is called the quiet confidence. You may have seen people who are very extroverted and they display a very chaotic, very extroverted level of confidence. But in this case, Hannibal Lecter is displaying a very calm and collected level of confidence. The extroverted type, in this case, is someone who is showing a lot of their body language and they just like to goof around, and there's nothing wrong with that. But in this scenario, we will talk about the quiet confidence, which Hannibal Lecter displays. And a big part of Hannibal's confidence is his tone of voice. His tone of voice is so calm, so collected, you can feel that he is in the control of the situation. And when you have someone around you, it makes the situation feel extremely refreshing, because everyone is so quick to jump into conclusions, everyone is so quick to react to something. But if you have someone like Hannibal next to you, you in some way feel really safe, because you know that this person has always the situation in control. For example, my best friend, I am this very chaotic, extroverted confidence, but he's more of this quiet, very still confidence. He always sits with a straight posture and he says the things that he wants to say in a very calm way. The more extroverted person would be more goofing around, would be more like this. They will be showing their body language, they'll be using a lot of their emotions, and they'll be really enthusiastic about the things they would like to talk about. But someone who is more calm will talk about the things that he's talking about very fluently, really calmly, like Hannibal Lecter is doing. When he met Agent Starling, he immediately started with "Good morning."
Good morning.
And how can we exactly implement this in our own lives? Your sentences always has to end on a low pitch. If I were to say a sentence to you and I would end the sentence on a really high pitch, it would look something like this. My name is Martin, nice to meet you, what is your name? It, in some weird way, sounds really needy and inauthentic. But if I do it like this, my name is Martin, what is your name? Suddenly much different. The energy has completely shifted from being extremely needy to being very calm and very interested in the other person. Always end your sentences on a down talk. And if you also want to display this quiet confidence, you might also like using a really calm rate of speech.
Before we begin, you must all be warned. Nothing here is vegetarian.
The rate of speech that is understood by everyone around you. Hannibal Lecter is displaying another really good important trait, and that is he's pausing.
I've been in this room for 8 years now, Clarice.
Instead of him immediately jumping to conclusions like a lot of uncharismatic people are doing these days, he waits. Instead of immediately saying, "Oh, you have done this, oh, you should do it like this," he just listens. He sits there and he is listening towards the other person, completely understanding their message, and just after that he starts speaking. But I have to give a disclaimer. If you're gonna have always a very calm voice, eventually someone is about to interrupt you, because they will think that you have already stopped talking. In this case, when someone interrupts you, you have to pick up your balls and you have to tell them, "Listen, may I finish what I have started speaking about, and then you can talk." If you say it like that, they will know, "Oh shit, I have interrupted that person, that's not really good." They will think this in their mind, and then you can start speaking. And after you finish talking, you can say to the other person, "Oh, I have finished talking. Would you like to say what you wanted to say before?" Works every single time almost. But if they will disrespect you because of your calm voice, then you have to boost your volume up when it comes to your voice. You can have a very calm and collected voice that is talking like this, for example, but now, for example, there is really easy for me to get interrupted by other people. But if you still have a very calm and collected voice, but you boost up the volume a little bit, you'll be completely fine, because people will know that you are speaking. Now, when we got the speaking out of the way, let's talk about listening. Hannibal's, in my opinion, the greatest strength is his listening. When he listens, you truly feel like he's listening towards your ideas. So how can we exactly implement this? Use a strong eye contact, use open-ended questions, And finally, nod your head and use back channel cues. I will explain all of these. First of all, you have to use your eye contact to your advantage, because a lot of people these days have a really bad eye contact. They hop around the room and they cannot focus onto the other person. And imagine just if I was talking to you through this camera and I was doing this. Yeah, dude, and this is how you can become like Hannibal Lecter. Suddenly feels much more inauthentic and it looks like I don't even care about the video. And that's what we need to change when it comes to our eye contact. When we are focusing completely onto the other person, you don't even have to use back channel cues, you don't even have to use nodding, you don't even have to use open-ended questions sometimes. If you just give them your full attention with your eye contact, they immediately gonna sense that, oh, this person truly cares about me. So that's why I have listed eye contact as the first one. Then if you want to increase your listening even further, you can give them back channel cues and nodding. These two things work really well together. Every 2 or 3 seconds from now on, when someone will be speaking to you, use a nod with a sound, something like this. This will show to the other person that you truly care about them. We cannot say these words, this in a big volume, because if we say that in a big volume, people will get interrupted. So the key here is to use these words in a very low volume, something like if I were to say that word like suddenly much different. So that's why we need to say these words every 2 or 3 seconds in a very low volume. These words, first of all, will not interrupt the other person because they are set in such a low volume, and second of all, these words will make the other person talk even further because we are giving them the visual, the nod, and the auditory cue that we care about them. But we also cannot use this really often, because if I were to go to you and you started speaking and I were go like that had to be rough. Suddenly it looks very needy. So that's why I say every 2 or 3 seconds, don't be autistic with it. Try to say that will show to the other person that you truly care about their message. And finally, asking open-ended questions and mirroring the other person. If you ask someone, what is your favorite color? That is really not that great of a question, because they can just respond, oh, my favorite color is blue, my favorite color is green. And the conversation is not going anywhere from there. So why don't just go for something much more deeper? Do you believe that aliens exist? If you say these things to people, they will immediately want to talk more about the thing that you have asked them about, because this is a really big and open-ended question. But if you are meeting someone and you immediately ask them, do you think aliens exist? What I like to start with is, what is your favorite movie or your favorite series? They will say, for example, my favorite movie is Interstellar. If they say that right off the bat, you can ask them why. Why is that your favorite movie? Do you like the characters? You do like the pacing? Do you like the dynamics? Millions of different things from the conversation. But if you just ask, what is your favorite color? It's green. What do you like about the green color? That just doesn't work. Second thing is mirroring the other person. If someone says, for example, I have been in a forest with a lot of girls, you can say, with a lot of girls, or in the forest. This will make the other person feel like they have to respond. But in fact, you have just said the last 2 or 3 words back to them. And that's the reason why we can use this as a huge advantage. And as someone who have been studying charisma and social skills for 3 years straight, this even works on me. Because people love talking about themselves. This works wonders. You will learn so much about people that you will be absolutely mind-boggled. Repeat the 2 or the last 3 words of their sentence. I have been in a forest with a lot of girls. With a lot of girls. And they will start talking because they think that the hot potato is on them. But in fact, you still have the hot potato, you just repeated the words that they have just said. And this makes people talk about themselves for hours upon hours upon hours. Let me give you an example how could this work. I have been in a forest with a lot of girls. With a lot of girls. Yeah, and then this huge bear started to chasing us. A huge bear, huh? Yeah, dude, and this 12 boars showed up then. 12 boars. Yeah, then we climbed onto a tree and then we started running away. Wow, that sounds really scary. In this scenario, you can also implement a lot of empathy. For example, this huge bear started to chase us. Whoa, that had to be really scary. I have fallen in love with this one girl. Whoa, that has to be really awesome. That empathy deepens the connection even further. And now when we got the listening out of the way, let's talk about Hannibal's body language. One of the most important things when it comes to your social skills. People perceive everyone in a different way. I'm gonna put a screenshot on the screen right now. This is a person in my gym. If you were to see this guy, would you respect him? Would you think that he's confident? Probably no. But if you were to see Hannibal with his awesome, great posture, you would immediately know, whoa, this person is truly worth of my respect. And how can we easily replicate Hannibal's body language? The key to this is to have your shoulders back and have your chest out and not have a hunchback. Have you ever seen these people who are like this? These people will gain no respect from you and from almost nobody around the world because they are walking on the street like this. How can we exactly change this? Put your shoulder blades together and then pop your chest out even more. Let your head sit slightly higher. And that's how you will entirely lose your hunchback. 100% is gonna take some time and it's gonna take some pain, but eventually you'll be able to get a very great and awesome posture like I have right now. And when you will be meeting other people, they will immediately realize that, oh, this person is worth of respecting because they're standing straight, they have no hunchback, their body language is open, like mine for example, and their feet are pointed towards the other person. If you are trying to listen to the other person and the other person is not listening to you, is when their toes are pointed away from you. That means that the person either finds you really boring or they have another thing that they have to attend to, and that thing is located that direction. Look at people's feet. Back to your own body language. If you want to have the best body language there is, keep your chest open. That's the best advice that I can give to everyone. Because yes, this body language might be completely normal, but it gives you no advantage. I cannot use my hands for example right now, but if I am more open, I can talk with my hands more fluidly now. So if you are speaking from now on, keep this very open body language so you can play around with your hands and show people the visual cues to entertain them even further. Now let's move on to jokes. Hannibal's jokes are so great sometimes. The reason why Hannibal is so funny is because people don't expect the punchline.
Before we begin, you must all be warned. Nothing here is vegetarian.
The problem with this is that if you have people in your life that think of you as a very unfunny person and they already have perceived ideas about who you truly are, we need to get rid of these people immediately. I'm not saying to you that you should cut all of the people out of your life. No. We just need to find a new group of friends that we can rely on and that we can trust. In this case, if someone is trying to be funny in front of your pre-existing friends, probably if you have a very close-minded friends, these friends will already think that you are not funny because they have already preconceived ideas about who you truly are. So that's why when you want to change your identity and for example become a more funny person, we need to meet more people at your school, at your workspace, at your gym, and finding new people there. And if you just try to be witty and very funny when you will meet them, you will immediately create a much better bond with them because they will first of all know that you are really calm and collected because you are using this tone of voice, and second of all, you are really funny. And a what better charisma combination is out there than being very calm and respectful but also being funny. But now, after we know what people to talk to, how can we exactly make jokes like Hannibal Lecter? The punchline that we would not ever expect. The absolute nonsense that some of the lines represent are so funny for us. For example, when Hannibal was on a dinner with Frederick, he said this.
He tells everyone that you are a monster.
Well, in that case, you are dining with a psychopathic murderer, Frederick.
The punchline hit so hard because two things happened. The first thing, it was so absurd, and the second thing, Hannibal made fun of his own insecurities. Let me explain both of these. First of all, the punchline was really unexpected. Second thing, Hannibal made fun of himself. And people love when you can make fun of yourself because then they feel like they can open up to you even further. He made fun of himself that he was a sociopathic killer, and people around him took that as joke, as a funny thing. In fact, he was. If you can, for example, make fun of yourself, make fun of your insecurities like Hannibal did, you could try something like this. When one day you will not be able to speak properly and you will stumble over your words and you will stutter a lot, you can make fun of yourself and will say, oh, apparently guys, I cannot even speak today. That makes you first of all really relatable because it happens to all of us. And second of all, it makes you seem really humble and really comfortable in your skin. And that's how you can tell great jokes like Hannibal Lecter. And the final thing is giving people real value. Hannibal is really charismatic because he knows a lot. So if you know something, you will be really valuable for people. If you studied software for 3 years, if you have studied a really good skill for 3 years, for example like me, I've studied social skills and charisma, then you can take your knowledge and give it to people. And people really love very smart people. Hannibal is so liked because he's a really good psychologist. He has a doctor's degree and he's really successful. So if you can also become successful, I'm not telling you to become a billionaire. I'm telling you, if you want to pick one very important skill that really intrigues you, that really makes your heart feel awesome, and if you become very good at that, you best believe people will fucking love you, because that signalates that you are passionate about something and you are not just a robot. Because the most charismatic people have no story to tell. But if you just go through these trials and tribulations, learn how to beat social anxiety, learn how to solve a specific problem, people will even pay you. They will give you money because how good you are at solving this one specific problem. It might be a skill or solving a specific problem. Maybe if you had some sort of addiction and you quit the addiction, you can immediately start telling people, oh, I've quit this addiction, blah, blah, blah. And they will say, wow, that is a really inspiring story. Can you please teach me how I can quit the addiction also? And that's free money inside your pocket. And second of all, you'll be extremely likable because you have some social value about yourself. People who have no story to tell are usually really boring. People don't give a fuck about these people. If you were to see some guy who's just putting nicotine pouches like this, he's vaping every single day, he's scrolling on TikTok, would you be interested in that person? Probably no. But if you see some guy that has traveled the entire world, have been in Bangkok, have been in Africa, have been in the USA and traveled the entire world, or have learned some very important skill or solved very important problem, then you'll be really interested in him. So that's the final thing. Create value for other people so they can like you almost immediately. And now I have made a very special surprise for you. I have created a special program where I will take you through a 6-month-old period where you will become the most charismatic version of yourself. You will learn how to display social yin and yang. The light side is you being empathetic, being able to listen and being to understand other people's ideas. But the black side is being you, being yourself, being assertive and respectful. And if you combine both of these things together, you get the social yin and yang, the ultimate unfair advantage when it comes to charisma. Imagine being yourself, but having no mask and still being charismatic and insanely likable. You get access to a full community of people who are just like you, who want to improve their charisma and social skills. You get access to me as your charisma and communication skills expert, and we can hop on a weekly calls where we can discuss social skills and charisma. And finally, you'll get access to 30+ hours of content and lectures made by me when it comes to first impression speaking, listening, body language, leadership, persuasion, storytelling, millions of different things. So if you are interested in this 6-month-old program, click the first link in the description. I will see you there. And also, if you want to know how to be charismatic like Patrick Jane, click this video right here. I will see you there. Live a happy life.